We can now leave the floor to Antonello Donini, who's already spoken at JTF. He's a technical director of CISGEM and has a lot of experience in gems, diamonds, and precious metals. Throughout the years, he has acquired experience with all gemological materials with an excellent interpretation of specialistic analytical techniques. He's the Italian delegate at IGC, the International Gemological Conference, the international conference gathering the best experts in gems all over the world, and coordinates the working group of the Uni Commission for Precious Metals and Gemology for the definition of the industry rules. His presentation will focus on diamonds, and the title is Diamonds, Natural, Synthetic, Some Tricks to reach some certainty or to express your doubts about what you see. So he's going to talk about the spreading of synthetic diamonds on the market. He's going to talk about the nature of the colorless gemstones that can be found in the trade. Many operators have not been informed or do not own the knowledge which is necessary to recognize these complex materials. For this reason, it is very important to provide useful indications to be able to identify natural diamonds, discriminate them from suspect ones, even though certainty can be obtained only if you bring the gemstones to a specialized lab. Thank you.
Bene, buonasera a tutti.
Good evening, everybody. Well, as you have heard, CISGEM produces analyses stating the nature and the quality of the precious material. We have heard about several issues and problems by Emanuela, and we have realized that our customers are really worried about these new synthetic diamonds. So we're talking about something which is very widespread. There are some correct actors who have launched lines of jewelry featuring this product, but unfortunately, some do not declare the real nature of their gemstones, and in some cases there is a lack of information. So like Andrea told us, it is necessary to acquire certainty about the nature of this type of material. On the market, there are instruments and equipment that can be of help. You've probably seen such equipment stating that it is possible to recognize a synthetic diamond. As a matter of fact, the vast majority of these devices can recognize type 2A diamonds, which is the main topic of my presentation. Of course, there are also more sophisticated devices that will be much more expensive, that can help you much better but these devices considering the problems presented by people who come to us, I mean, in many cases it is necessary to know better what the synthetic diamond is, which are its features, to be able to interpret also what these devices tell you. So let's try to understand what a diamond type 2A is. Since the beginning of the previous century, diamonds have been submitted to scientific studies to understand their features, which have become more and more important also from an industrial viewpoint. In the last 50 or 80 years, we have acquired much more information about diamonds, which used to be quite obscure in the past. So in the 30s and 50s of the previous century, The diamond was classified in several ways. At the beginning, we had the two main categories, type 1 and type 2 diamonds. Type 1 diamonds contain nitrogen, type 2 diamonds do not contain nitrogen. These studies are based on infrared spectrophotometry. You can see the two tracings at the bottom, and as you can see, there is a difference. In type 1 there is nitrogen, in type 2 there is no nitrogen, and the type 2 diamond therefore does not contain any nitrogen traces. And nitrogen is a trace element which is most frequently found in diamonds. Further studies have been carried out to better understand diamonds and to understand how nitrogen can be found in the structure together with other trace elements, and all these types have been defined. Type 1 with nitrogen and type 2 where 2A technically is made up of pure carbon without any other trace elements. And then we have type 2B, which is a diamond that can contain boron. And lately, type 2C has also been added, containing hydrogen. We shall focus on diamonds of type 2A and 2B. What happens in nature? Of all diamonds that are mined in nature, only 2% is of type 2A. 98% is type 1, that is, containing nitrogen. In other words, type 2A are very rare, but even more rare are diamonds type 2B, almost 0%. So we're talking about two varieties, 2A and 2B, which are extremely rare in nature. Talking about synthetic diamonds now, we know that there are two methods today that are used to produce diamonds. HPHT, high pressure, high temperature. These artificial diamonds repeat what we believe happened in nature. Diamonds in nature were created through high pressure and high temperature. And then we have the CVD, chemical vapor deposition method, implying the conversion of a gas, methane or propane, hydrogen and carbon, in a solid on a substrate where carbon atoms are deposited, producing monocrystals. Both methods are used today to produce synthetic diamonds. And talking about colorless diamonds, or diamonds of grade J or K, well, all these diamonds are of type 2A. So if we can perform an infrared analysis, we realize that all these diamonds are of this specific type. So we're comparing something which is extremely rare in nature, but which is flooding the market today. Let's have a look at the different features. Let's see if we can find something that can be of help. So, on top of those devices that are present on the market and that can recognize type 2A. So, when we observe the diamonds, what can we see? And this is what I tell all those who come to our courses or those who come to us with a synthetic diamond thinking it is natural diamond. So it is always useful to carefully observe the gemstone because it can raise a doubt, a justified doubt. I mean, first of all, the dimension. Synthetic diamonds can be produced of any size. And there's a competition as to who produces the biggest artificial diamond. The biggest artificial diamond CVD production is 34.59 carats. I'm talking about the faceted, the cut gemstone. So you can find absolutely everything. Of course, you can then cut it in every way you like. But one peculiarity that we have seen resides in the fact that these gemstones, since the product is standardized, all have top quality cuts with excellent finish. This could also be a sign of alarm, the perfection of the cut. I have spent 43 years in the lab, and as you've heard before, if you end up in a gem lab, that's it forever, and I've spent 43 years in my lab. And I haven't seen many perfectly cut natural diamonds, but the artificial ones are all perfectly cut, with all the facets, perfect proportions. And in the press, in the international press, some time ago, there were articles about diamonds with a certificate provided by the best-known gemological institute. The certificates apparently were original. The gemstone had a laser incision, perfect sizes as reported in the certificate, and the certificate was also in the database of the lab. In other words, they took artificial gemstones, they cut them, and they made the laser incision identical to the one of the original ones. But let's move on. Which tools can we use to reach certainty or to raise doubts? If you have already attended a gemological course, you probably know about these devices. We recommend a UV light. It can be useful not only for diamonds, but for many other things. And you have to be able to cut the wavelength between long and short, 254 short, 365 nanometers long. Photoluminescence tools can also be useful, or just a laser pointer, the ones that you can find everywhere, provided that they emit a blue light or a UV light. Then you need a magnifying glass. And if you can, it is also useful to have a polariscope or a macroscope with polarizing filters. Well, we have seen that in 98% of cases, natural diamonds are of type 1. When nitrogen is present in the diamond, we have UV fluorescence, so if you expose a diamond to ultraviolet light, in the vast majority of cases, the diamond will produce a luminescence or fluorescence, which is blue-purple in color. So if you have diamonds, you put them under the light and you see a blue color like the one that you see in the top center slide, or a purple color, then you can be sure that the diamonds you have in front of you are natural. They cannot be synthetic. But if you see strange colors, then you should start worrying. Yellow, green, orange. I mean, this does not mean that it is a synthetic gemstone. It could be natural, but usually synthetic diamonds produce these colors. And they can be totally neutral with regard to the long wave. Things change when we submit them to short waves, 254 nanometers. You have to be in a dark room, and when you observe the gemstone, you will see a difference if you look at the diamond with the long or with the short waves. Synthetic diamonds with a short wave produce a more visible, more evident effect compared to the long wave. In the vast majority of cases, natural diamonds behave in the opposite way. Stronger effect at the long wave and milder effect at the short wave.
CVD synthetic diamonds can have this greenish or blue color, which is different from the blue that you see above, with some fibrils inside, which reflect the deposition of carbon atoms which have occurred during this process. Now, if you look at them with short wave or long wave, you can also see some figures, butterflies or crosses, and this could be a bad sign. So you should have some doubts about these stones. So if you have this situation, you should bring these stones to a well-equipped and well-trained laboratory, and our company can be of use, of course. Then, speaking about ultraviolet rays, this is another important characteristic. Now, the diamonds produced by high pressure and high temperature, well, most of the stones that we have seen have this characteristic. They remain lightened. Well, it can happen also for natural stones, but this effect will expire in just a few seconds, just 1 or 2 seconds. Well, after 5 seconds, we have this effect, and after 2 minutes, it is still visible. So photoluminescence in diamonds is a very, very bad sign. Now, watching stones at the surface can be very useful. CVDs do not have natural surfaces because the natural surfaces are the remainders of what has been done by the cutters. And if we have these triangular figures called trigons, well, you can be sure that that stone is natural. It cannot be synthetic. Here again, you need some experience. So the examination of inclusions can be a good sign. Well, people always look for a pure stone without any inclusion. But when I see inclusions, I know that inside those stones there is sort of the history of the world. I like them. Anyway, these are crystals which can have a round shape. Sometimes there are some clouds, black clouds, which are distributed in a non-uniform way. And in other cases, they can form shapes. Well, if it is a cross shape, it can be a bad sign. If we look at high pressure, high temperature synthetic diamonds, well, the tendency is to have highly pure diamonds, but sometimes there can be remnants of metals because with this method we use a metal alloy in order to synthesize the crystal diamond. So you can observe such a situation with a given orientation, and if you observe them, they actually look like metal pieces. And CVD diamonds can be more difficult to identify. There are very few small inclusions with this shape because, in fact, they are carbon residues, carbon which has not crystallized. We are halfway between diamond and graphite, something amorphous, with some holes around. It's pretty difficult to see them, also for us. So it's not so easy to distinguish them from natural inclusions. Well, this can be very useful. But you have to have a specific instruments. Well, diamonds, natural diamonds can, well, if you cross the two filters, they can show these figures, which are called abnormal bifrangens, and they can have different shapes, different forms, which represent internal stresses of the diamond. And this is due to the geological history of diamonds while coming up to the surface. So synthetic CVD diamonds, and also sometimes natural diamonds, but please consider that these natural diamonds are very rare. Well, they can have these characteristics, which, however, are very stiff. Americans call them tatami, which recall the Japanese fabric. So they are either cross or linear. Again, you have to have a bit of experience, but when you see these figures, well, it's a bad sign, so to say, because you need further controls. Also because 2A diamonds can be synthetic diamonds, but they can also have been treated with a high pressure, high temperature treatment in order to eliminate the color which is present in the stone. 2A diamonds, synthetic diamonds, produced by PHTH, do not show these figures. So it means that they are empty. If you have the light coming from below, they do not show these colors. Well, consider that today there are some producers who guarantee the optical quality of synthetic diamonds, so without any lines, without any figures. So the quality of the diamond is certainly very, very high in this case. Naturally, as I said, there are instruments which, however, are pretty expensive. Instruments which can help you assess the diamond. They can tell you, okay, this is a good diamond, or there are some doubts about this diamond. And here you can also observe the spectrum. Well, in this case, you need some information because you need to be able to interpret the spectrum. Color centers can be representative of the nature of the diamond, can be observed, but producers themselves will explain to you how to use this information. And you can detect whether it is a lab-grown diamond or a natural diamond. And as I said at the beginning, for further information, please call us at our association, because we are ready to help you. Thank you.